discussion for today is another offsite hotel review, as we're kind of hitting up these good neighbor offsite hotels, because we've had a lot of people, as we've done more of these, we've had a lot more people asking about certain ones, and I think there's a lot of, I think for the most part, most people probably stay off property versus on, so there's just a lot of places to hit up, and a lot of people have a lot of questions, so we're going to slowly go through all these hotels. So we stayed a couple weeks ago at the DoubleTree Suites by Hilton Orlando in the Disney Springs area. And this is right across the street from Drury, which we stayed in a couple weeks ago before that.
December, yeah.
Yeah, so the location is, so it's Hotel Boulevard across from Drury, like we said, and you can see I-4 very well from here. So you're very close to I-4.
It's like on the corner.
Yeah. You're obviously very close to Disney Springs over here. You're 10 minutes mostly away from most of the parks.
If you take a bus?
If you take like your car.
Oh, or drive.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's close to a lot of stuff here.
Yeah.
So it's one that's been on there. I guess we can first talk about the layout of the hotel.
Okay.
This looks very much, it kind of looks like a mini contemporary.
It very much looks like the style of a contemporary. Like
that
it probably was built around the same time.
Yeah, it's got that slanted, like it's going up. It's not quite a pyramid, but it's going up toward one, and then it has like a flat top.
Lots of concrete.
Yeah. Yes. Very, very dated, I will say. The lobby was very small. Everything in there was very tight.
Ugh. Yeah.
The lounge area in there had like 4 seats at the bar. There's a couple tables. Like everything was just much smaller than what you're probably, if you're staying in a newer hotel, for instance, we had just stayed at Drury, and you walk in there and the lobby, I mean, it's not the grandest thing ever, but it's big and it's open. There's a lot of seating and there's a lot of lights and things. And then here it's just very dark and small and kind of like, I felt like it was like wood paneling feel to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I will say, I guess, do we want to talk about the first impression now, or do you want to wait?
Let's talk about the first impression now.
Okay. This review is not going to be the most positive. I'm just going to put this out there. We actually debated about doing this review if we should actually review it on the show. And the reason being is like, we don't like to come on here and be like really negative about things. And I'm not saying we're going to be negative. We're just going to give our opinion. But I think that is something that our audience deserves from us, which is our honesty.
Right.
So all of this is being perfectly honest about our experience. This wasn't like the worst hotel experience I've ever had, but it definitely was not the best. But just forewarning here, it's not going to be like, oh, this was fantastic. So our first experience with this was, so you were able to, via the app, it was kind of like how Disney works. So you got the room number and you can use your phone as a room key before we got there.
On the Hilton app, you can use a digital key.
Which is great. The only problem was there was no miscommunication. Jamie didn't tell me to get the app. So I went to get the app. And when I went to sign up for it, it said we were experiencing difficulties in doing, like, I think they call it like magic keys or something like that. Like
digital keys.
Digital keys. Visit the front desk. So I was unloading the car. So Jamie was like, I will go and get the key.
Because he needed it, too, to be able to park. Because you had to scan it to park.
Yeah. So do you want me to do you feel like, is your voice going to hold up telling the story here?
You better tell it.
Okay. So Jamie goes in to just go to the front desk and just get an extra room key. So you walked in there and the person ended up helping you. And this is the thing about Hilton. Sometimes they have these vacation people that...
Hotel ambassadors.
Yes, they're selling vacation packages.
Well, they're selling timeshares.
I'll explain that in a moment.
Okay.
Because I know what the whole thing is with that. So she comes over and she tells Jamie, oh, I can help you with that. Well, what she really wanted to do was try and sell you on a vacation package.
Right.
Mind you, Jamie's in there with our 2 children. We're all hangry. It's late. We went to the parks. So we checked in our hotel late. It was like 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Because we went to Epcot for First Day Festival of the Arts. So we were tired, hungry, and basically just want to get a room key so we could get up to the room and put the kids to bed. Because they needed to go to bed. So the kids are, I don't know if they were melting down, but they're being kids. They're being 6 and 3-year-olds. So she goes on to try and give her spiel about like, they'll ask you, did you get your bonus Hilton points? Like, I think it's 500 extra points. So Jamie's just like, I just need a room key. And so the first experience we have in this is that someone's trying to immediately sell a vacation package to you upon just trying to get your stuff to the room.
Yeah, so the whole interaction was just a little off-putting because she's very nice at first, and then she got a little pushy about when she was selling, and I was just not having it. The kids were driving me crazy. They were like literally fighting and like rolling on the ground. I was like, I can't deal with
Which is
this.
the perfect time to sell a vacation
And she was
package.
asking me questions about like how often we're in the Orlando area. Do we like Hilton? Uh, you could get this for this amount of money, and I'm like, I can't do this right now. Can I just come back later? She's like, well, I'm off in 30 minutes, so something about like, could you ask your husband in 30 minutes? I was like, no, I'm gonna have to come back later if I'm interested. Okay, so thanks for your help, and I just left because I was just like, it was just like the first impression. I was like, I don't enjoy being sold to. You know
Well,
what I mean?
it's
Like
also
I hate that.
agreed, and it's also your first interaction with the entire hotel is them trying to sell more to you. Like you haven't even
Yeah.
stayed. I haven't stepped in the room yet.
Yes.
Uh, so
And I heard about the delicious cookies they give you when you check in. Guess what the cookies have in them?
well, apparently they had nuts in them,
They had
but you didn't.
walnuts. I can't have nuts. Why would they put nuts in these cookies?
I know. Okay,
I was so upset.
I would agree. I think I was a little surprised that they had nuts in them, given so many people do have allergies to peanuts.
Exactly.
And it goes back to my whole thing about chocolate chip raisin cookies. They're already chocolate chip. You don't need to put anything else in these things. Like, who the heck is making cookies and going, you know what that needs? It needs nothing else. If you're making chocolate chip cookies and you're like, what else other than white chocolate chips to go in there with the regular chocolate chips? You don't need anything else. You are good to go. You don't need to put raisins and nuts. Anyways, but yeah, those did have nuts, and Jamie kind of ate one.
I took a
Oh, we took a
bite,
bite.
but I spit it out because I was like, "Ooh, this does nope." I could tell, so I was okay, but I swallowed it. It would
Yeah.
have been bad to.
But it is a weird thing to put peanuts and nuts in the cookies.
Very
I will
weird.
agree with that. But
So
so
strike two.
well, our stay, so it didn't go off to the best start. Immediately because it took. I remember I was sitting by the car and it took a long time. I was like, "What is taking so long for this?" Because nobody was in the lobby and I didn't know what was taking you so long.
Yeah.
And then you were like, "Yeah, she's trying to sell me a vacation package." I was like, "That's great," when you haven't even gotten to the room yet. So,
Right.
anyways, that night we were gonna get food at the lounge. So we get our stuff up to the room, and I was like, "Okay, I'll go down and get food in the lounge." I go down there, and it is like, I mean, the bar is like, I think there are 4 seats there, and the prices, it's lounge prices at a hotel, but I was just like, I'm just gonna go somewhere. So I ended
Yeah.
up going around Disney Springs there and just getting like Freddy's or something and brought it back. But so yeah, right off the bat, it wasn't the best. And I will say, I don't know. I've never had this too much of experience. Like one other hotel, we said it was the Hilton. They sold it to you, but they weren't as pushy about it, and they just kind of approached you nicely. And if you said no, they walked away. The next day, and then we'll talk about the room and things. But the next day, we come in and we had gone to the parks and we had gotten the kids Chick-fil-A. So we were walking into the hotel lobby yet again. I have my hands full. I had bags and drinks I'm holding Chick-fil-A and things, and I'm walking in. And I see the person that's the ambassador person. I mean, when we walk in and we're going, so you go around a little corridor and you go up to the elevators, push the button for the elevators, and this guy comes in and he's like, does the whole, hey, have you gotten the Hilton points? And I'm just looking at him, I'm like, no, I'm okay. And so, mind you, the button's been pushed for the elevator. I'm holding food. The kids are being kids there. And he starts his spiel. And I was just like, not right now. Like, I'm kind of in the middle, like, you're just going to go to the room. And they're like, oh, okay. But trying to spiel, like, while you're trying to like get stuff to your room, like
It just feels like peddling.
I get that they're understanding, working off commission. That's fine, but there's just no one to shoot your shot. I suppose I would say whenever you have someone in there just needing a key and the kids are melting down, or someone's carrying food in and they're with their family.
And your face said right across your forehead, "Don't mess with me. Don't talk to me."
I was I was nice, but just firm about like, not now. Now's not the best time. I think it's just, I think they're just basically, the thing I don't like about the feeling of this, the reason we even bring this up is I don't like the feeling of like being prey at a
Uh-huh.
hotel in which you're staying at. Like, I don't want to. Like, I got to the point. I'm just like, I don't even want to go to the lobby.
Because then they're gonna talk to me, and then I'm gonna have to feel weird
And I
about
don't.
it.
And
Yeah.
I don't care to say no. I just want to avoid the time it's going to take for them to do the spiel. And I go, no. Like, it just becomes this like very uncomfortable situation when people are there on vacations or whatever it is. So it just becomes a very strange interaction to have. So right off the bat, it's
Yeah.
like you feel like I don't want to go to the lobby. Like if I go to the
Right.
lobby, I'm putting my headphones in and I'm just walking straight out to what I need to do. But so right off the bat, did not care for that one bit. It felt like
Yeah.
we were staying at a timeshare. It felt like one of those places where you get a really cheap rate, and then you get there, and then they want to sell you another. They get you there to
Right.
sell a timeshare. Which I will say that thing that they do. So I think it's like $2.99 or three. I think it's $2.99. So they're trying to sell this thing. It's $299, and you get like a five. That's for 5 nights at a Hilton hotel. If you book it, if you got to call a number to book it, and the fine print will tell you to get that rate and to get those nights, when you do say you go book a 5 night at a Hilton hotel, you are then agreeing to one of those timeshare presentations
Right.
that you have to sit through. And I think it says at least a 1 or 2 hour presentation. So just know they're
It's a
basically,
common strategy.
yeah, it sounds like
Yeah.
a great deal, $300 for 5 nights until you're reading the fine print. And then you got to, so it's like the whole thing of go to a timeshare presentation to get a pair, get a set of golf clubs. They're trying to sell you. So in my opinion, would not do it, but that's what they're trying to sell you if you
Right.
if you come across it. So, and they do sell these. We've had this one other time. They've never done it at Flamingo Crossing, but they did do it at a Homewood Suites we stayed at near SeaWorld.
Uh.
So some of the Hiltons, I don't know if they're doing it more lately, but Hiltons potentially may do this. So just heads up there. But
Yeah.
okay, that part out of the way. So the room,
Okay.
7th floor.
We were in a king suite,
Yes.
and I have to say, it was a lot of room in there.
It was a lot of room. I actually did like on the app. So we actually got to choose the room. So when you
Yes.
do it, it'll let you choose. You had the choice of like 5 or 6 different rooms you could choose from.
Then I chose one of the rooms that faced the Hotel Boulevard. It did not face I-4 because it would have been like noisier.
Yeah, agree. So that part I did like. Again, was pretty spacious. Uh, it had fridge. It had a pull-out couch in the main room. It had the bedroom in there was spacious, I will say.
Well, okay, well, like when you first walk in, there's like a kitchenette area. It was just a big, like counter. Had a microwave, had a sink, no toaster. They never have a toaster.
That's true. They don't.
A table with 4 chairs. And then, like you said, the pull
I
out.
liked the table. I will say that table was
Table
nice to have. Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of room for activities.
You could do
A
a
lot
lot.
of room for
You could do a
activities.
lot of activities.
Uh, and then there's a sliding door, like a sliding barn door. No, just a pocket door. Uh, to the bedroom. It was a king bed, and then you walked into the bathroom over there. Uh, the bathroom was dated. It was dated.
The whole room was dated.
The room. It
If
looked
I'm
like they haven't tried to update
the
it a little bit.
the
but-
furniture, some of it was very rough. There was a lot of it had like a yellowish hue to it. It just felt it just felt like 80s kind
Oh,
of.
old, yeah.
Yeah, there was stains. It wasn't that it was dirty. It just felt dated. Very,
Yeah.
very dated.
And the toilet was really low to the ground.
Okay. That was the most uncomfortable toilet I've ever seen in my life. I honestly don't. So I'm fairly flexible. Like I'm able to I do squats periodically, well, a lot of the time throughout my days, and this one to use it to sit on it was so low. I literally was like, how I don't. There were some people I'm sure that are on that thing that could not get up.
Right.
It was so low. I've never experienced a toilet that was so low in my life. It was very strange. Not comfortable one bit. I will say you basically
Yeah.
wanted to do your business and get up and go. Like you're not checking anything on your phone with that thing. That was strange. I will say. Also, no paper towels.
So that may be like nitpicky, but
Most hotels will have at least paper
yeah,
towels.
like just with the sink right there, you would expect it maybe.
Yeah. I mean, usually, but again, that's not a huge thing. That's just something that typically you will find that. But again, that's not. If everything else was fine, that'd have been no big deal.
Oh, tiny trash cans.
That's kind of all the Hiltons,
I
though.
know, they just tiny trash cans. I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna need bigger than this. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
The bed, you liked the bed more than I did, but it was okay. It was adequate.
it
I mean,
was
it
fine.
was a hotel bed.
Yeah,
It was a king size bed. Not given it was a little bit dated. Not a lot of outlets. Not a lot of USB ports. Things that you would kind of expect with a little bit of a dated room there. The TV in the main room or the bedroom was kind of like to the left, off to the side, on top of a dresser. We don't really watch TV much, so it wasn't like something we cared about. But if you were, wanting to watch TV, it was kind of a weird placement for it,
yeah,
I will say. But so on all the room wise, a lot of space, but most like the hotel, just everything seemed dated. So I personally, like, when we walked in, I kind of right off the bat was just like, I don't like this room. It wasn't anything like it had a space, but I just didn't like. For me personally, it was one of those things where I just didn't like the feel of it. I don't
yeah,
really, there's a lot of things I could point out about it, but just the whole vibe and feel, I just wasn't really into
yeah.
myself. But anything else about the room you want to talk about?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. The amenities here, and mind you, this is not a really big hotel, so there's not a lot. We were going to do a vlog on this, but again, we ended up really caring for our experience, and it would have been a really short vlog because there wasn't really a whole lot to talk about here. So there was a pool, there's a gym, had tennis courts.
Hey, where's the gym?
I'll mention
Oh,
I will
okay.
mention the gym here
Okay.
shortly. Pet friendly rooms, Evergreen restaurant, which we
Yeah.
did not try.
It
Wasn't
was
really.
like expensive.
It also wasn't. Yeah. Anyways, they did have scheduled shuttle transportation, but you have to get a reservation. You have
Yeah.
to book it ahead of time.
Yeah.
And they are a Disney Good Neighbor hotel, so you do qualify for early theme park entry. Uh, you know, extra magic hour stuff like that if they have it.
However, they do have a parking fee and they do have a resort fee. So, yeah, factor that in too.
Yeah, not a fan of either of those, but there you go. Yeah, so the gym was. So I was walking down there and I was like, well, I'll just go look at the gym here. I wasn't going to work out, but I'll go check. So I follow the sign that says pool and gym this way. So I follow the sign and it says pool and gym to the right. So I walk down and it basically tells you to go out a door and you walk out the door and you're just outside. I still don't know where the gym or the pool is. Well, I know where the pool was. I don't know where the gym was, but whatever the signage they had inside did not lead you. And I was like, well, maybe I took a wrong turn. I took the other turn, and it's just where more rooms were. And I was like, I may have missed something, but it wasn't super clear to me. So I was just like, I give up. So I was like, at this point with the hotel, I was like, you win, hotel. I no longer am gonna go venturing around. But yeah, that's kind of the whole thing. It's a very small. It's actually a pretty small hotel. Not a. I don't know how many rooms this has. I would assume 700-ish,
Maybe.
maybe. Parking lot wasn't very big. Again, location was solid, but all in all, I guess I'll lead to you. What would you give it 1 out of 10? What were your thoughts?
Before I give you my ranking, I do want to mention the leak.
Oh yeah, you did see a leak. Yeah.
So I went to go get ice. I had to go to the sixth floor because it was only on every even floor. So I went down the sixth floor. The elevator's open and there's water all over the floor. And it's just like, it's tile.
Was it raining?
It was raining.
Okay.
And it's like right when you open there's a window. There's a big window and it's slanted, just like the building is slanted. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I look around and there's water coming in the window. Like it's leaking through the window onto the floor, all over the floor. And I'm like, anybody not know about this? Is this something new? And I'm looking at the part with the seal of the window and like the paint, and this is not the first time it's happened because it was like patched.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, there was nobody like, there was no sign, there was nothing like, nobody told them, nobody had checked it. I was like, okay, that's a terrible hazard. Like someone's going to fall.
Right.
Is my first thought, but I was just like, okay, interesting. But anyway, I wanted to mention that. Gosh, 1 to 10. Based on the price we paid and the experience and the amenities, I'm gonna give it a 4.
Okay. Anything you? What did you like? Anything about it?
I liked the table in our room.
The table in the room was nice.
It was good, and I liked the space for activities.
It did. Okay.
It was big.
Yes,
It was big.
I would agree with that.
We did not walk to Disney Springs or anything, but being close to it was nice. Being close to the parks is nice too. But yeah, overall, it's just yeah, 4. It just was not my favorite, especially since we had just stayed at Drury Inn, where you get the free breakfast, you get the 5:30 kickback, you get the free drinks. There's no resort fee. I mean, like the cheaper rates too. It's just like, well,
Yeah.
oh, and the pool was nicer at Drury. Anyway, this is not a Drury
Granted, Drury
hotel.
is a newer hotel,
It's
but
correct.
yeah.
But if you're at least you're staying at DoubleTree at points. I don't know if I'd ever stay here again.
Yeah. Um, I personally would give it like a 3. I didn't.
Okay.
Okay, I agree with you. I liked the table. It did have a lot of
I like
room.
the table.
Bell services guy there, he was the same guy every time I interacted there. He was great. He was actually really nice and helpful. Um, that kind of goes about how much I liked it. I didn't care for the way it felt. I really didn't care for being sold to immediately right off the bat. And each day we were there, I don't care. I don't care to say no. I really don't. I have no
Right.
problem telling people no. Uh, Sometimes Jamie says I say it too aggressively, but I'm okay with saying no. I'm just bothered that that's something you need to deal with. And when I'm thinking in terms of a lot of times when we're staying at these hotels, I'm thinking about okay, how would people, you know, thinking outside of just what we do, and I'm thinking okay, I'm a family of 4 coming here on a Disney vacation or Universal vacation. How would this be during a trip? And I'm just thinking I would be really off put if every time I come back to the hotel, which you've had a long day in the parks, so you just want to relax, and then you walk in and you're like, oh, I got to deal with the salesman.
Right.
I just don't think that's a good vibe. I don't think that's a good idea from a guest perspective. It's a stressor. It's just something that I don't like having to deal with. So, yeah, that right off the bat didn't set well with me. I didn't really care for the amenities. Again, it felt kind of old, dated, cramped, damp, whatever. I didn't care for it. Um, so, yeah, I'm going to say a 3. And in fact, I'm probably going to call Hilton and voice some things and see if maybe can get some points back or something like that because
Right.
I felt like we've stayed at Hilton's many times and I've always enjoyed Hilton's. This is the first time I've stayed at one where I was genuinely like I don't like this. Like I even said something to you
Right.
about let's go to a different hotel after the first night, and it was just one of those things where it would have been a huge hassle and I was like okay fine. So again, we had kind of tossed around not doing this review because we knew this was how it was going to be, but just being honest about this.
And like, it was not like the worst experience ever. It was not ideal. It was not
It's
the
just
best for us.
it's just for what you're paying in that price range, what you're used to getting. I think that's just something that, yeah. Again, it's not the worst thing, and it wasn't. Again, it's a good location. Like we didn't feel safe or anything like that. It was just
Right.
I just feel like this one isn't the best. So yeah, this will not get our CTM choice badge. I guess you could put it that way. Which I kind of thought about this. Somebody mentioned in Club 32. I think we are going to work up sort of a off-property, CTM ranking of off-site hotels because some people have asked about that over the years. So that is something I will work on for the website
Okay.
especially as we stay more of these. So this one will not be high up on that list. Just put it that way. So all right. Well, I think that will do it for the show and our review there. So, and again, if you stayed here and you had differing thoughts, would love to hear your opinion.
Absolutely.
Maybe we just had it. Maybe it was just a bad time we stayed there. If you're watching on YouTube, leave a comment below, or you can always email us at hello@ctm.show. But yeah, again, we're just giving our honest opinion about how we felt. So, yeah, that's all we can say. So, all right, well, that'll do it. So, thank you, Jamie. I know you didn't feel very good.
No problem.
You hung in there like a champ.
Thank you.
Be sure to check us out on social media. We've got Instagram. We're at Cap the Magic everywhere but TikTok. And on TikTok, we're at Capture the Magic. Yeah, so join there. You can also, if you want to join Club 32, ctmvip.com. And if you want even more content, you can watch some of the other shows on the CTM network. We have the CTM Universal show where we talk about Universal Studios, and that's once a month on this feed and its own feed as well. So if you want to subscribe to a separate, just straight Universal feed, you can do that. We also have Trip Tales, which is Jamie's Trip Report show, which that one just came out on Monday. And what was that one about?
I talked to Jenny. She took a New Year's Eve trip with her sister and her mom, and it was fun.
Well, there we go. All right, and those are just a very deep dive.
Uh,
Uh, basically breaking down trips that went. So it's a really good resource if you're planning a trip because there's been enough episodes there. We can probably find a trip that is similar to yours that you
I've
can.
done 64.
Yeah, so you can learn a lot from those. And we also have Outside the Bubble, which is our show where we talk about things outside the Disney and Universal Studios bubble. We will have a new episode there coming up very soon. So we'll talk about things like places to eat, just different things in Central Florida area. So we'll have a new one there, but that's on this feed as well. So you can also check us out on YouTube. We have video versions of the podcast, and we also have vlogs now. So we will have a new vlog this week about our day when we rode Splash Mountain for the last time, rode the train for the first time in a couple years, our son's first time. Hopefully that will be out Thursday, if not Thursday, on Friday. So going forward, the vlogs we're gonna try and get those out on Wednesdays. This week is a little hectic because Jamie's parents had moved down here, and then I had a whole bunch of stuff I had to do that delayed my video editing abilities. So I'm gonna hopefully we'll get that done. We're recording this Wednesday. Hopefully it gets done by Thursday. So that's the goal here. So at the very least, it'll be out by Friday. So, but yeah. So I think that'll do it for the show. So thank you everybody for listening and or watching, and thank you Jamie for joining us yet again.
Thank you.
And as Jamie always likes to say,
We will see you in the parks.